And so you can test 5 real P's, 4 fake P's, and a real P. Just a fake P is if you have a hang up with a real P, then why are you in healthcare? Right? So all those things. So we do have gloves over there if you want to use gloves, but this is fake, really. It's just, this isn't P. So what you're going to do is test up to 5 patients for these things on your sheet. So let me walk you through how you test this stuff. So you work in a nursing home, you know how this works, all right? So you'll be using the test strips. So what you have before you are test tubes. So you pour the urine of your choice into a test tube because you don't need the whole bottle. And then you would simply be dipping your test strip in like you do at the nursing home into the thing. So here's the catch on the strips in case you've never used these before. Each color is a different test chemically. So each box is a different row on the code, and each box tells you a different chemical. So what you'd have to do is know what each row is on the sheet. The sheet doesn't match the box label. We get different brands. So I would recommend you first read what you're searching for, then find it on the code, right? Because here's the other trick. You're going to dip it in the P, you count to 1, you bring it out, you're done. The test strip is reacted. Then if you notice on the bottle, you'll notice that there are little letters and numbers that tell you what the tests are, and the numbers tell you how soon you have to read it. So the glucose, which is the bottom, is 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds after you dip it to read that bottom row. And luckily with this brand, the time increases as you go up. So what you'll have to do is get ready to what you're going to test, dip the stick, and then start the clock on your phone, and then read the rows within that time period because they begin to change color more and more. Make sense? So basically you're reading from the bottom up. So the easiest way to do this is have someone reading the rows and someone else writing the data. Right? It works better that way. The other fantastic thing with this brand is you have to hold the strip like this so the urine drips down onto your hand as you're holding the bottle there. I don't know why they do it this way. They just do. Right? So you want to figure out what each row is that you're reading, read it within the time frame you're supposed to read it, and then record it. So for recording purposes, most of the colors are normal on the left and become more abnormal as you go to the right. So the colors over here are usually the bad colors, but not always. So some of them give you just a plus and a minus, meaning more yes or no. Some actually give you a number. Some give you number of pluses. So each row has a different way they interpret the data. So you're just going to write down what the little box says for your patient, right? So let's go through each of these. Color, that's not on the strip. How would you determine the color of your P? Just look at it, right? Is it yellow? Is it whatever? You can decide which Home Depot it is. Transparency, how do you check that? That's not on the strip.
Cloudy, not cloudy.
Not cloudy, not cloudy. Can I read through it? So you're going to look at the P physically and say, can you read it? Odor, you get to play with that one. So take a whiff.
Nice.
Everything else below those 3 is on the strip. So there's going to be a pH row. There should be a pH row. Yeah, right there. There's a specific gravity, which is SG. That's how thick it is. Glucose, you know, protein, ketones, blah, blah, blah. So basically, when you get done whiffing and seeing it, you dip your stick, you start the clock, and then you basically read the stick from the bottom up, recording on the appropriate row here. Make sense? So it works better with the team when someone's reading, someone's recording, someone's doing that. Because it's easy to forget what row you're on and then end up messed up. The one place that people get all panicked about is underneath the fake urines. The fake urines don't always match the colors because they're fake. So if you wonder why it's, not pink but it's tan, just remember if it's fake, it's going to be a different color sometimes. So just do your best interpretation of the fake color because the real P should match the colors in the box, right? So your job would be to do up to 5 patients, fake or real or both or whatever. And then you fill out the first part of the sheet. Then on the back, you will have interpretation like we learned last week in lecture. Can you figure out what this means? There's some questions. You're going to do one as the team, whatever that means for you. Some other little protocols. Okay. Fake pee can go down the sink because it's just fake pee. So when you're all done, just down the sink, rinse with water. If you have real pee, okay, this gets interesting. If you pour the pee down the sink, it smells like a men's room in about an hour in here. Right? So we ask that you take it somewhere you can flush it, like the bathroom around the corner, just to get rid of it. Not because we don't like your pee, just because it gets a stink. Then you can rinse the cups out in the sink, and then we can use these again, not for pee, but we can use them for bugs and stuff. So we can put the used cups, with your lids, with your cups, we can use them again. We can for anything else that touches the pee, your gloves, towels, whatever, you can just put them in these bags and we can paste them and haul it off. Right? But we can use the cups a second time for something else. The test tubes, just rinse them in the sink and dry off upside down. I'll put them away in the lab. Make sense? As long as you're not leaving pee lying around, we're happy people. Okay, one other thing to do. If you have real pee, this doesn't work with fake pee, you can do a spin test. It's not part of the sheet. But if you think there's something in your pee, think it's cloudy, you can centrifuge it. That forces all the sediment to the bottom as a little white pellet. You can suck it out and then use this magic book called the Urinary Sediment Photographic Atlas. And you can go through and try to figure out what's floating in your pee. And by using your microscope skills, you can figure out if it's an infection, if it's calcium salt, if it's blood, if it's your sex last night, whatever. You can figure out what's in your pee. It's amazing what I can see in your pee if I look, right? But this is what's floating in your pee. You can identify what it is. So if you're wondering what that is, you can find out whether you like it or not. Right? I did have one student once that figured out that she had more in her pee than she was expected. So
she had what?
She had some little bacteria zipping around that she wasn't planning on. That was fantastic. Right? Yeah, surprise. That's optional. So your job with your team, do 5 Ps of some. Well, we have 4 now. I'll donate some. Do 5 Ps. Do the back. Show me that before you leave. And then the rest of it's just to study UA. So next week's lab quiz is basically this assignment. Can you interpret a UA? If I would give you a strip, could you tell me what's in it, what's not in it, and all that? Make sense? So pretty easy, quick lab. There's nothing horribly complex. Working the team. I will be the first to donate P for my cause.
No, you don't have to.
Can I have Ethan's car keeps overheating because it's on the fire.
I might do it. Do you want to work together? I started clinical yesterday. Oh my gosh, crazy. I mean, it's just like so overwhelming, like the first day. But I'm really excited. My feet are so